Hi, I'm Tony Knight, and I'm really excited to share with you something that we've been working on for a long time. Over the years, we've made quite a few changes to the QromaScan app to try to help you get as much of your family history inside your photos as possible. Our focus has been to make the images searchable in the digital domain by using your voice to create metadata for things like when the photo was taken, where it was taken, who's in it, and what was going on. Now, the process for doing this before today was structured and prescribed, and we've always been looking for ways to make the process easier. Today, with version 3, we're introducing a new concept called natural language tagging, where you can describe your photos in your own way, and we use some intelligence to automatically create the important metadata for you. It's a huge change, and I think it's going to make it much easier for you to put more of your story into your digital photos. Let's take a look. Right off the bat, you'll probably notice that we've redesigned the user interface for the scan and import tagging screens. I think these changes were long overdue and work hand in hand with our new capabilities. Now, I'm not going to go through every detail here, but there's a link down in the video description where I go through all the changes in another video in great detail. Second, as part of this move towards a more natural method for tagging, we've introduced something called a relationship manager in the settings. This allows you to define common nouns that you would use in everyday conversation and assign real names to them. This allows you, for example, to use words like mother, father, and grandparents for tagging people in your photos instead of having to say their full names. When we recognize these words, we'll tag your images with that person's full name. There's a complete video detailing this new feature in the description link as well, but I can tell you that this is pretty simple to set up. Finally, let's talk about natural language tagging. Our old workflow involved a bunch of steps. First, you had to give us the date and location through the online recognition engine. Then you had to say each name one by one for all the people in your images. Finally, you could edit each image in the gallery and then add a description that can be embedded into each image. With natural language tagging, we've reversed and consolidated this process. In the new online mode, you can describe your photos naturally in your own words to create a description that will be transcribed and embedded into each photo. From that description, we've written some intelligent parsing that automatically identifies the date, location, and people from that description. Now you can do most of what you need in just one step. So let me scan 4 photos real quick to show you how all this works. Here's some photos from my childhood. Now, I realize the only thing more boring than scanning your own photos is watching somebody else scan theirs, but stick with me till the end. It's going to be quick, and with each one I'm going to reveal some new variation of what's new in QromaScan 3. Chroma. This is my mother and sister at the Eiffel Tower in the spring of 1974. So when I triggered the online recognition system with the Chroma command, the recognition window popped open and I waited for the tone to sound before I began speaking. I said a sentence that contained 2 nouns from my relationship manager, a location and a seasonal date. From that, QromaScan was able to create metadata tags for the date, location, and people. Let's do another, but this time instead of giving the Chroma command, I'm going to tap on this voice control indicator, which will do the same thing. This is my sister and I in our first house in the summer of 1974. So this is the same type of thing as last time, but I purposefully didn't give the location. Now, I do know the full address of our first home, but if I have a lot of these types of photos to scan, it's a mouthful to say every time. What I'm going to do is use one of my pre-stored locations so that I can save some time every time I scan a photo that has my house in it. If you forgot the location of the presets, you can swipe up on the metadata window and then tap on it to dismiss. Location 3. Did you notice how my address got filled in now? Okay, let's do another. This is my sister and I in Almaden Plaza in San Jose in April of 1974. Now, if you paid close attention, you might notice something that I've done in the last 3 photos that demonstrates one new improvement that we've made in QromaScan 3. Before, you needed to give us the exact date in order for us to properly tag a photo. That's because the rules for that metadata field required a month, date, and year. Now we've added some fuzzy logic that allows us to fill in parts of that date for you. So you can give us just the month and the year, or even just the year, and we'll format it correctly. You can also give us a season and a year, like spring, summer, fall, or winter, plus a year, and we'll tag it for you properly. Let's do the last one. This is my dad and I at the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk in the summer of 1974 with Ruth Ann Stepakowski and Wendell Stepakowski. So what was different about the last example was that I was able to say the proper names of the last two people, and we were able to correctly recognize and tag them. The reason for this was that those two names were in my iPhone's contact list, and this voice recognition engine can recognize them accurately. With this capability, you get the three most important elements of a photo, the date, location, and people, tagged with just one natural description. Now, before we go, let me give you a few important tips that will help you get started. First, try to use the new Relationship Manager as much as possible. It's the easiest and most reliable way to get your names recognized quickly. Second, turn on your contacts lookups in your settings, and then you can tag anybody in your photos just by saying their names during the description phase, if that name is also in your iPhone's contacts. This is a big change from having to say your name separately in offline recognition mode. Now, if your name doesn't get recognized during the description, you can always give them one by one in offline mode, just like in previous versions of QromaScan. Finally, try to enunciate. We've been testing this technology for many months, and the biggest thing that we've learned was that these voice recognition systems, if they were going to get something wrong, generally do it with very short words. Now, you don't have to sit up straight or talk extra slow or tuck your shirt in to get this to work reliably. In most cases, just normal, natural conversations works fine as long as your words are crisp and distinct. So, that's pretty much it. Give it a try. If you run into any problems, let us know. We keep a running log that can help us diagnose and solve any problems you might have. Go to our website, open a support ticket, and we'll get back to you within a day. You can also use this method to get back to us with any feedback on this new version, and we can use that information to help us improve for the next release. Until then, happy scanning.